There is an awful lot continuing to go on with these drones, these mysterious drones all over the place, from Jersey to PA, Tennessee, Maryland, and then some, all over. Comment if they're in your area, what you think about it all. There's been some pretty interesting developments here, and it starts with Trump talking his talk.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
We should know
they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
So those are some pretty interesting comments from Trump, right? He's more or less saying, oh, there's one part too that isn't in that video. A lot of the news outlets cutting off a very brief part after the Bedminster. I'm gonna postpone my trip. Not trying to get caught up in this drone madness, right? Where they ask him, have you heard of a intelligence briefing on the drones? And he said, no comment. But it's pretty interesting what he said there. What do you guys think about it? You know, I'm not a Trump dude or anything like that. For those that know that, tap into the channel. If you're new, subscribe, hit the buttons, let's talk in the comments. I'm not like a real political guy. I follow some of the stuff going on. I definitely was tapped into all the election madness and drama, but you know, I'm not like on one side or the other with all this political stuff. I'm just sitting back watching everything that transpires, but I'm a little more focused on all this stuff, man. It just seems like a lot of wild-ish is going on. You know, some people believe this is the beginning of the end. As you know, a lot of people believe this is part of Project Bluebeam, and there's going to be staged, fabricated alien invasion and stuff like that. That's going to, you know, set forth in a whole agenda, having citizens, you know, following what the powers that be tell us. Roseanne Barr actually has been talking about it on her podcast, and there was also some YouTuber, I guess, that went out. You know, he delves into the conspiratorial world or whatever and got his own drone to go try to go see what's going on with some of these drones that are around, you know. As if you guys haven't heard some of the reports already about the Coast Guard and local police in certain areas were calling it into the feds, actually scared themselves. Like, what is this? Why isn't anything being done? We see Homeland Security and, you know, federal agencies saying they're stepping up now. But the Coast Guard story was crazy to me, because they went out to investigate sightings of them over the ocean and seen a bunch of them, and then said, okay, let's head back. And then they were like, yo, we are being followed by these drones. They were following us on our way back in, and, you know, the way they fly, the way they move, the size of them. A lot of people are just saying, man, this is like nothing we've never seen before. The technology is quite crazy. And then you got Trump talking about how the government knows exactly, or the military, they know what's up. They know everything, right? They're not in the dark about this, because they would have shot these things down if it was the enemy, you know, as they've been said to be flying over military bases and everything like that. And some of these threads I got up online that people are discussing this, you see some people saying, yeah, don't ever think about trying to fly your drone over a military airbase. That thing might fall right out the sky ASAP, like just scrambled. It won't work, or it'll be shot down and you'll probably catch a Fed case or something like that. And something else that people are debating about that I always wondered was, like, what's up with air traffic controllers? Could this be hazardous to the flights? You know, because you see some people saying too, why isn't the FAA said anything or whatever for the most part? And some people are theorizing that this could be because if they just shut everything down for good, that would say these things are a threat. So it doesn't fit with that narrative. But I'm like, well, if that's the case and that's what they're worried about, couldn't they just say, hey, we're not saying these things are threats, but it's a hazard, a safety hazard. You know what I mean? But I kind of feel what Trump's saying. It makes sense to me. And you see he's like taking some shots at Biden in the way this administration is handling it, like a cover up. And, you know, why aren't they saying more? Could be lead people to take, you know, stuff into their own hands. It was interesting to see Trump speak about this, because previously when he was asked, as you know, he isn't in office yet, he put up a meme dissing Christie about it all, showing him pigging out on some McDonald's with drones flying all around him. But we got a few real couple interesting developments that we're gonna get to. But I gotta say, something really doesn't add up. What Trump's saying does make sense to me, but I want to know what you guys all think about it. You see people also saying the government is corrupt. They believe that at some point this is going to turn into the next big issue. You know, like we're out of the sickness lockdown. We might have the drone lockdown. And I heard too, I believe in Florida, there were reports of a state of emergency being declared. And there was someone in New Jersey that was trying to declare a state of emergency, but like I was told he couldn't, I guess. I forget which politician it was. But speaking about New Jersey and politicians, tell me this ain't some pretty trippy stuff to see going on in the midst of all this.
I think that we need to make sure that we are dealing with affordability in a sensible way.
You okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to?
I think maybe we need to take a commercial break and address some issues here on the stage. Stay with us.
So you see, man, he froze up. It was pretty creepy, man. It reminded me of those videos that we used to see where people say, man, it's that MK Ultra glitch or whatever. You know, are the drones sending out signals, scrambling this politician's brain, and he malfunction? You know what I'm saying? Is he a reptilian and the mothership sent out the signal or something? Or the other aliens that go against the reptilians are sending out signals to make the reptilians freeze up? Like, it was crazy, man. He just froze, and they were like, yo, are you okay? He's like, yeah. Like, I don't know. It was scary. It just gave off some creepy vibes, and he's saying it was because he skipped eating. You know, I've had low blood sugar before where I haven't felt too good, and I fainted at one point in time, but I never froze up like that. Maybe he was geeked up, tweaked up on some pills or something too. Who knows? But see, he went out and got himself a pizza and, you know, took up to social media with it all. But it's just odd to see this going down right at the same time in New Jersey as all this drone madness. And then Chuck Schumer, I believe he's out of New York, right? He's a big shot when it comes to the U.S. Senate. I guess who's on his way up out of there is saying, you know, that he intends to, with his last bit of time in power, push whatever he can to make something happen in regards to these drones. But how about this, man? They actually got a drone in New York, the NYPD, at the Brooklyn's Naval Yard. I guess there was all kinds of reports of there being drone activity in the Bronx a couple nights ago when all this ish was going on everywhere else. And the NYPD got an emailed tip to them about a drone in this Naval Yard in Brooklyn. And they found this thing and ended up going and following up on this tip. And you see they got the picture of this drone. It's pretty big. Recovered drone found abandoned in a Brooklyn Naval Yard, measures more than 5 feet in diameter, and was manufactured by a sustainable energy company called Amogy. And Amogy said this is indeed their drone. But you see cops responded to an email tip alerting them to the presence of a drone, which they found on the sidewalk at Fifth Street between Market Street and Morris Avenue. And the leader of this company, Seong Woo, said the drone was indeed theirs. But, it was not operational. And I guess the police had it in their custody, right, as officers were investigating. A passerby said he worked in the building that houses the headquarters of drone manufacturers, which he identified as Amogy Inc., a sustainable energy startup working to use ammonia as a renewable fuel source, including for aerial vehicles. Man, ammonia smells like ish. Just someone spilled something the other day. It was terrible. And again, the Amogy CEO, Seong Hoon Woo, if I'm saying his name right, confirmed the drone was the property of his company and said it had been placed on the sidewalk after a company party about a month ago, according to sources. And says the NYPD dispatched an emergency service unit truck to disconnect the drone's nitrogen components to ensure it was safe for transport before bringing it to the 88th precinct for safekeeping. And they got a hold of Amogy by email, and the Amogy spokesperson told the media that the drone was used in a demonstration of its clean energy technology 3 years ago and had been on display outside company headquarters ever since. So they're saying, like, this ain't one of them drones. We made this one. It was used for a demonstration, and it's been non-operative for 3 years, just sitting there. But someone just emailed this tip in with all this madness going on. So we'll see what happens. NYPD took possession of it for a brief period. Amogy cooperated fully with NYPD, and the drone has since been returned to the company after NYPD determined the drone was not a threat. So I don't know. And it says what we have seen over the past few days here in the city has actually been quite normal, frankly, in terms of the actual drone activity that we see every day. And there's a lot of people saying something's funny style about the White House putting out a statement about the drones too. I don't know if you guys saw this, but what's his name? John Kirby, White House National Security Communications Advisor. He said Thursday, it's believed that many of the rogue aircraft seem to be ordinary and lawfully operated. I don't buy that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people flying drones around on any given day, but nowhere like this, and nowhere with so many in one spot, and of this technology that flies in the way in which it does, that's having people shocked. People who are familiar with aircrafts and stuff are like, what is going on here? Most of them, there's like two different kinds that are being seen the most, but it says White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby said Thursday it's believed that many of the rogue aircraft seem to be ordinary and lawfully operating, saying there was no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have foreign nexus. So that just sounds like absolute BS to me. I'm not buying it. And here's more reports to what we were talking about, the Blue Beam conspiracies. It says New Jersey drone sightings and the government's cagey response to them. That's what's got everyone flucked up as well. Like we were talking about what Trump said, they know something if these things aren't getting shot down. And then like the way they're just acting about it is all sus. And then we see something coming from the White House like that. Like, yeah, most of them are just normal, lawfully operated. Like, come on, man. And, it has reawakened the wild conspiracy theory dubbed Project Blue Beam, which claims global elites will fake an alien invasion to establish a new world order. You know, I've often talked about the book Behold a Pale Horse, written by William Cooper, you know, who is said to be former U.S. Military intelligence. And he wrote this book and was killed during a raid. I don't know. It's all wild. There's everything in that book, you know, from the end times to the NWO to different things like we were talking about with aliens and AIDS, where it came from and all this stuff, you know, which he does have some documents to back his claim. Comment, everyone, if you've read the book, if you believe it to be true or not, what you think of William Cooper. But this Project Bluebeam stuff is really heating up now, you know. And like I said, there was even this one YouTuber, what's his name? I forget, man, that, you know, he said he was chasing one of them and his drone just died and fell out of the sky, like it scrambled it. And then we also heard about this air base getting shut down in Ohio.
Mid-flight 8 Patterson Tower, use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement on the base. Security forces is handling the situation. Suggest that. Mid-flight 8 Patterson Tower, use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement on the base. Security forces is handling the situation. Suggest that or above 1700 AGL. We will maintain 2000 and on our transition for mid-flight 8. And I gotta keep the lights down so that security forces can see. Roger that, no problem. Yes, sir. Your transition is still approved. However, Patterson Class Delta is sterilized as of 0330 Zulu for heavy unknown UAS activity. Security forces is handling it, and Columbus is going to sterilize the airspace after you leave the Delta. Roger that, no problem. Thank you. All aircraft use extreme caution. Patterson Class Delta is now closed for heavy UAS activity.
And in September of 2023, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, changed the rules so that drones could fly at night.
As you guys heard that clip there, and you know, reports are just saying that this Air Force base in Ohio was forced to shut its airspace for hours in its latest security scare over the mysterious drones. Officials confirmed Monday. The sprawling Wright-Patterson Air Force Base closed for 4 hours from late Friday into the early hours of Saturday because of concern about the small unmanned aerial systems. That was from the chief spokesperson from the 88th Air Base Wing. And an air traffic controller was heard warning, which is that clip that we just played, a medical aircraft identified as Medflight 8 to use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement over the base. You know, so it was shut down for 4 hours or whatever. But as far as I was wondering, just commercial airports, right? Like, again, those people you've seen in those threads theorizing like, oh, they don't want to do that because then that will have them looked at as a threat by the people, you know, that it's all like a PR game being played about this, like you heard what Trump was saying. And, you know, like there's no way they don't know. The military ain't about to let these things fly over their base. But then we see a report like this that they shut down for 4 hours, but it'd be a lot longer than that. You know, if some kind of conclusion wasn't come to. The drones ranged in sizes and configurations and were being monitored by base units, Timin said, without revealing how many were spotted. To date, the installation leadership has determined none of the incursions impacted base residents, facilities, or assets. So, I don't know, you know, there's just so many reports going on, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, they're being very hush-hush about this. And I don't know, you know, there's all the different stuff going on. Roseanne Barr talking about Project Bluebeam. This one, you know, taken into police custody by the NYPD in New York in that naval yard. And I don't know, it says the National Airspace Intelligence Center, which identifies airspace and cyber threats, is also on site. The Biden administration's national security advisor brushed off the saga, claiming the unusual objects are planes or helicopters that people are simply mistaking for drones. And then we got the White House guys saying, oh, no, these are just normal drones. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here, you know? Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas said Sunday that certain agencies within the Department of Homeland Security have the power to incapacitate drones. We need those authorities expanded. And, you know, there's one more thing too about the rules being changed for drones, and I don't know. It's a whole lot going on, man. But there you have it. Trump talking his talk, calling out the Biden administration in the way in which they're handling this, and you know, all that other stuff. Roseanne talking about Project Bluebeam, NYPD, the air base in Ohio being, you know, restricting their airspace for 4 hours, and all that, man. What do you guys think about all this? Do you think it's gonna stop? Do you think it's gonna carry on? Do you believe it to be part of some big agenda or plan or something like that? You know, there's just something funny about, again, the way that the government is acting. That's facts. That's easy to see, you know, but what is the truth? Let's discuss it all in the comments. Hit the buttons for me, subscribe, and stay tuned for updates. It's Coffee, talking music, news, sports, and more, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.